This is your daily news report. The federal government will be sending $600 stimulus checks to workers in meatpacking plants. There's going to be some money for grocery store workers, but don't expect a lot, otherwise you'll be disappointed. The federal government is on track to run out of money in a month. I'll update you on the situation. There's a new bill to help teachers and first responders buy a home. This is expected to get support from the Republicans and Democrats, and I'll let you know the details. I'm going to give you a status update on the $3.5 trillion spending bill. The former president of Afghanistan released his official statement yesterday. I'll let you know what he said about running away and all the money that he took with him. If you're looking to buy a used car, consumer protection agencies are warning Americans to look out for vehicles with flood damage. After Hurricane Ida, a lot of scammers are buying these vehicles for close to nothing, and they're selling them to unsuspecting buyers. This is your Thursday news, and I hope you're having a very nice day. The federal government announced that they're going to send out $600 stimulus checks to workers on farms in meatpacking plants. The U.S. Department of Agriculture says workers in the food industry fell ill at higher rates than any other workers. Many of these workers had to stay home without pay or use their own money for personal protective equipment. The Secretary of Agriculture said workers in the food industry have taken significant personal risk to make sure that the rest of us can feed our families. A $700 million fund will be put together to distribute the payments. Approximately 1 million workers will be eligible for these payments. So if you do basic math, after you subtract out $100 million for administrative expenses, 1 million people will share about $600 million, so every qualifying person will get $600 each. The government is also rolling out a program to give money to grocery store workers. However, the payment is going to be much less. It's almost a joke. It's like a slap in the face. The fund will only consist of $20 million, and about 3 million people will qualify for the money. So if you do the basic math, now you have less money with a bigger pool of people. So what they're telling us is that the grocery store workers will get about $6 each. And it looks like you're going to have to apply to get your $6. Leaders of labor organizations are saying Congress should allocate more funds for frontline workers and hazard pay, but there's currently nothing in the works. Just as a reminder, the federal government is on track to run out of money in about a month. The Treasury Department has implemented emergency cash conservation measures to save money. People keep saying that the government can't run out of money. All they have to do is just print some more. The Federal Reserve does the money printing. They do it digitally, so it's numbers on a computer. The Federal Reserve is not part of the government. They're not a governmental agency. When the federal government needs more money, they can ask the Federal Reserve for a loan. The Federal Reserve, they create the money out of thin air and they loan it to the federal government. So here's how this works. The federal government, they make money by collecting taxes from the people. The federal government, they spend more money than they collect. The federal government, they keep on borrowing more money from individuals, from corporations, from foreign countries, and from the Federal Reserve. The federal government is no longer allowed to borrow more money because the politicians have not increased the debt ceiling. So currently, the federal government is spending whatever cash that they have on hand, but that's going to run out soon. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said on Wednesday, "We have learned from the past that waiting until the last minute to increase the debt limit can cause serious harm to business and consumer confidence, raise interest rates, and negatively impact the credit rating of the United States." The Republicans are saying that they're not going to vote to increase the debt ceiling. The Republicans are blaming our debt situation on the Democrats, so the Republicans are saying the Democrats should raise the debt ceiling by themselves, which they can. Nancy Pelosi, the leader of the Democrats in the House, said on Wednesday, Democrats will not risk the full faith and credit of the U.S. government. Hopefully the Republicans will be responsible. So we'll see how last minute the politicians react to the situation, and I'll keep you updated. In political news, Congressman John Rutherford and Senator Marco Rubio put together a bill to help teachers and first responders buy a home. The bill is called the Helper Act, which is the Homes for Every Local Protector, Educator, and Responder Act of 2021. If you qualify, you could buy a home with no down payments and you will not be subject to PMI. This program is going to be similar to homeowner assistance that's available for military members and veterans. Rutherford said, we need a program that would allow first responders, our police, firefighters, paramedics, nurses, and educators to be able to move into a home and really make that home ownership available to them. And here's Rubio's statement. So Rubio said, the cost of housing has skyrocketed. The salaries of our firefighters, our teachers, our nurses, our police officers, our sheriff deputies have not skyrocketed. Rubio is going to introduce this bill into the Senate on Monday. It's expected to get support from both the Republicans and Democrats. If you're finding this news summary helpful, please be sure to subscribe. I try to deliver the news to you as straightforward as possible, and I hope that this breakdown helps. Regarding the $3.5 trillion spending bill, Democratic Senator Joe Manchin is still standing his ground and says that $3.5 trillion is too expensive. Manchin says that he's willing to support $1.5 trillion. But the leader of the Democrats in the Senate, Chuck Schumer, says that they're going to move ahead with the $3.5 trillion. You must remember that if a single Democratic senator votes no to the bill, then the bill will fail. It won't have enough votes to pass. But Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said on Wednesday, we're moving full speed ahead. President Biden said about Senator Joe Manchin, Manchin at the end has always been there. He's always been with me. I think we can work something out. I look forward to speaking with him about it. In international news, the former president of Afghanistan, Ghani, issued his official statement on Wednesday. He apologized for running away. He called it the most difficult decision of his life. Ghani loaded cash into 4 cars and a helicopter, and then he ran away to the United Arab Emirates. He ran away with so much money that not all of it fit into the cars and the helicopter, so he left piles of money on the tarmac. Ghani said, I owe the Afghan people an explanation for leaving Kabul abruptly on August 15th after the Taliban entered the city. Leaving Kabul was the most difficult decision of my life, but I believe that was the only way to keep the guns silent and save Kabul. So please let me know your opinion. Did Ghani run away to save the people of Afghanistan, or did he run away to save himself? So I'm very interested to know your thoughts. Please leave your comments below. Ghani also denies stealing any money. He says that he's innocent. Ghani said, I must now address baseless allegations that I took millions of dollars belonging to the Afghan people. These charges are completely false. Ghani ended with, I apologize to the Afghan people that I could not make it end differently. My commitment to the Afghan people has never wavered and will guide me for the rest of my life. In current events, if you're trying to buy a used car, please be extra cautious. With all the flooding in the south and the northeast, thousands of vehicles were destroyed due to flood damage. If all the paperwork is done correctly and legitimately, a vehicle will be flagged as having flood damage. However, the National Insurance Crime Bureau says, unfortunately, after major hurricanes or flooding events, we see trying to scam consumers by selling cars damaged in the flooding. There's a car shortage right now. So a lot of scammers, they're taking advantage of the situation because buyers are not thoroughly inspecting the vehicles. According to Consumer Reports, a car that has flood damage may develop problems slowly over time. For example, corrosion will eventually damage the car's vital electronics, lubricants, mechanical systems, and even the airbags. It's recommended that you have a mechanic check out the vehicle before buying it. And if you get offered a price that seems too good to be true, please be skeptical and have it checked out properly. And I wanted to end with this interesting information. According to a new report by Moneypenny, 93% of Americans are not pursuing their dream career. The workforce is going through the Great Resignation. 1 out of 3 workers is considering quitting their job to find something else. According to the job site Monster, burnout and a lack of growth opportunities are causing this. The organization Jump Team says, coming out of people are burned out and they want to make a change. There's a crisis of identity that's happening right now. So if you're thinking about quitting your job, you are not the only one. That's the news for today. If you enjoyed today's report, please be sure to subscribe. I thank you for your support and I wish you a very nice day.